We're going to start off here with Matchbox motors. That's from the 80s. That particular set's dated 89. It originally was the Matchbox parking garage. Now, once you see the box here, you'll see that the Matchbox motors is supposed to have a big cardboard piece here that kind of encompasses the showroom. Now, when it was the Matchbox parking garage, which I really want one of, you could let the car come down the ramp here and it would fly, and when it was the parking garage it had a driveway that went straight out underneath. Well, you know, with Matchbox motors you let it fly and it came right about to here where of course you see that cardboard is, and it would come to a dead stop, which, you know, was kind of a killjoy, and it was probably the reason why they didn't sell a whole lot of them, because other than the elevator the place had no kind of functionality. And as you can see, the playmat itself has a lot of wear on it. That's just from it being folded up over the years. Actually forgot that I had this particular playset, but I had to have one when I was a kid. In this particular set, I actually skipped lunch for a week, so my mom gave me $2 a day for lunch. I skipped lunch for a week and found the playset at Farmore for $9.99. Rode my bike about 5 miles, I don't know, I was about 10 or 11, but rode my bike out on a busy road for about 5 miles and went and bought this. Of course, you know, over the years the cardboard pieces kind of went away. The stickers are, you know, of course, starting to peel. And like I said, it had a lot of heavy playware, especially back here. It had a like a test track back here where you could take off. And I kind of realized the harder I pressed the cars, the more marks I left in the plastic, and I thought that was kind of cool at the time, except for the fact I didn't realize I was going to keep the thing. So with this one being in such sad shape, I actually bought this one off of eBay. And when I purchased off of eBay, I got it for a whopping $30. And then I found out that it's all in there, yeah, but it's sealed. It's mint and sealed box, and I just haven't had the heart to open it. Maybe one of these days when I actually have some place to display them. But you see the big differences here in between the one I have and the one on the box. Of course, you know, it's got the cardboard sign up here. It's got the cardboard, I don't know, like mini mechanic shop up on top of the garage that would sit here. You know, the cardboard that sits here that encompasses the showroom. Another nifty thing I try to do between the boxes, you know, a lot of the same cars that I have, I tried to sit in the same position. And those playmats are really the first things to go with these Matchbox sets. The next one I have is the Matchbox car wash. You know, it was you know, pretty much a matching set. This one and the other one and the Matchbox motors were the really big play sets. And of course, you know, since I had it, you know, it has a lot of playware. The mat is in a lot better shape. I still have the instructions for that one. The top has yellowed and has warped over the years because, like I said, a lot of these stuff that has been sitting around in boxes has been through quite a few moves and been in some risque storage areas that, you know, probably weren't the best for them to be in, with heat and moisture and whatnot. But the car wash, unfortunately, is no longer functional because, as you can see, you know, to the box to here, it's missing a few parts on the inside. The tracks does still work, where it can send cars through the wash and the roller. Unfortunately, the spinner at the end no longer works. The stickers on this one actually survived a lot better than the other one, though. But the other one I had a lot more use on. Now we're going to switch gears a little bit, and we're going to go to some Hot Wheels stuff. And I'm throwing in some more Hot Wheels stuff that I didn't get to throw in the car collection, that I kind of found in between, like, oh yeah, I forgot I had that stuff. My nickname and my CB handle has always been Hot Wheels. So I just came across a lot of Hot Wheels stuff. Lunchbox is dated 89. It's still got the thermos in it. The box serial, I believe, is somewhere around 2005, 2006. Actually, the date on the serial that says it goes bad is 2008. And then we come across, the Hot Wheels Folding City. I think every little boy in the world had one of these. Of course, in varying pieces. This whole city actually folds up. And this piece folds over. This piece here folds over the bottom piece, and you can carry it like a suitcase. And a lot of times, this plastic here, where you can see the white is the stressing. A lot of times they snap there, so if it snapped, you usually just set some books, or like I did, another little car case, and I had to kind of like piece it together and play with it that way. And it felt really weird too, because I got this playset when I was like 10. I traded my best friend for it for like a model kit or something, and he never kept anything in very good condition. But I cleaned it for the first time last night, and these things are a pain in the butt to clean because these stickers are so old and dry. But I cleaned it for the first time last night, and I thought it turned out pretty nice. The garage doors still work. Even the bell at the service station still works. The rollers inside the car wash still work. And surprisingly enough, the elevator still works. I think this is where I really have this OCD thing where I constantly have to have my car in a garage. Because, as a kid, only your very favorite car got parked in the garage overnight. I just got to put my sign up. Yeah. You can tell it's got a lot of playware. I mean, it went through a kid who didn't care about it, and then it went to me, which I never played with it. I just set it back. Because that's about the time I was kind of past the point of playing with them and into the point of more collecting. Like I said, the stickers on these have not fared well, but then again, you think about it, they weren't really made to last. And I would imagine the Hot Wheels stuff is so big now. I would imagine, just like the Transformers and Voltron, stuff like that, I'd imagine they're making some repro stickers. So I might even just look into that once I get some room to display them. But now on to some larger things. And yes, I had to break this table out in the middle of my living room to show you. But this is the 1968 Superchargers race set. It is the first race set that Hot Wheels even offered. It's a battery-powered set with the Hot Wheels style plastic track that we all know and love. You notice this track has a much lighter orange to it than today's track. That's how you can tell a lot of times the differences in between the tracks and what years they are. I actually tried to clean this last night, and while the ends are really hard plastic, the original track itself has actually become kind of brittle, so it doesn't move so easy. And I was cleaning it last night, and just both hands tugging on it with a rag, and one piece snapped. So I apologize. Those are not very clean, but I cleaned up the buildings and everything. I lucked out and found this at a garage sale, I'd say about a year ago. And I think I bought the whole thing for $7. What's even cooler beyond that is the two powerhouses that it has that resemble garages or timing buildings or whatever you wanted them to be, still function. Unfortunately, I didn't have the time before the video to go through the car collection and see exactly what car could make it even halfway around the track, and that's about the best I could find is one that made it around about here. But the track's dirty, it's got a lot of resistance, it's, you know, with some new track it'd probably be a lot better, but I think it's just really cool with the old track. I didn't get to show this either. Well, here's the instructions for the supercharger set. Amazing that those still exist ever since 1968. And I've got another collector's case I didn't get to show off with the car collection when I did the Matchbox and Hot Wheels cars. The link to that is going to be in this. Moving on again, I know this isn't Matchbox nor Hot Wheels, I know it's Fisher-Price. However, how many of us didn't have one of these? And again, it was one of those things where it had to be tore up to some degree. But this had a lot of really nifty functions. First off, it was big enough to actually reach your hands in and park your cars and do whatever you wanted to do with them, you know, on all the levels. The top level, you know, had the 4 parking spots that had the rotational thing that, you know, you could drive the car on and off of, and you could park, I usually park 2 per area. It had the functioning elevator, as loud as it is. And you could park a car in. It's hard to do with one hand. And yes, this thing clicked and clattered like that, you know, ever since it was new. I mean, brand new, these things clicked and clattered like that. But, you know, they rarely broke. The elevator part of it rarely broke. And it should go up far enough, yes. It gives enough of a slant, usually, for the car to, you know, make its trip down the ramp. You had the extra gas pump, you know, you had your little driveways. And like I said, while it wasn't Hot Wheels or Matchbox, and it lacked a lot of realism, it had a lot of cool features to it. I lucked out and found this at the garage sale for $2. And the only thing I can see is wrong with it, of course, is like that's a factory defect, the way the that goes up and down. It's pretty rare to find one that doesn't do that. But the only other defect I could really find on it was, you know, the corner of the wood, this real cheesy wood it was put on. It's kind of chipped up. And I've seen these go on eBay and Craigslist, you know, max $15 for a pristine one. It's not worth a whole lot, but it's still really cool to have. Last but not least, we got the 1964 Motorific torture track. I lucked out in 2005 or so and picked this up, box and all, at an estate auction house for $12. Now, realizing the box isn't in the best shape, just like they say on pickers, the fact that it exists is still really cool. But what's really cooler is when you open it up and you realize there's some of these parts that have never been out of this. I've gone through the inventory. I got the information from it online. I've gone through the inventory and the instructions and whatnot, and I've realized there's missing 2 of these really short, straight pieces, and the rest of it is there. I set up part of this. When I first got it, I set up part of it and took a few pictures of it. But other than that, it has never, I don't think most of the parts have ever been out of the box. And that's why I only set up part of it, because of course the pieces that looked like they had never been removed, I didn't remove. And as you can see, it had quite a few different pieces, and because of the different pieces, it had a lot of different variations. Now, the cars were kind of precursors to slot cars. Instead of controlling them by a trigger, you know, that you plugged into the wall and it gave the track power, the cars themselves were battery operated. Let's see if this is one of the working chassis here. Yeah, it's got a motor in it, just like slot car does, but you'd put the batteries in here. I've actually got one of the bodies over here I forgot to put back in there. But you'd actually put the batteries in here, you'd put the body back on it, and then get the body. Whatever I do with it, okay, I'm gonna have to find that later. But the cars have a bottom to them that stay, you know, in the middle of the track there. I believe that slot would have went right there. And it kept it in the middle of the track, and they, like I said, they kind of drove around the track on their own under battery power, but they'd stay in the track as, like I said, as the precursors to slot cars. And as you can see, you know, there's a lot of different reconfigurations and hills and whatnot that you can do. And actually, I've got a lot of slot cars that I think I'm just going to feature this when I do the slot car tracks that I have, because I got a lot of them still in the box from the 60s and 70s, so probably you're going to see that again. But here it is, and this is just the stuff I could find. I know I've got a few other things that I can't find, and you know, I'll find them slowly and maybe try to feature them in some later videos and whatnot, but right now I'm just kind of going through and organizing and categorizing, and it's a pain in the butt because I don't have a lot of room or a lot of time to do it, but eventually it's going to get done. These tracks here, these were made from the late 70s, I believe 78 or 79, all the way up to about 89, 90. The Matchbox car wash, that was made anywhere from 1973 up to about 1992. About 1992 is when Hot Wheels, or excuse me, Matchbox really dropped a lot of their cool stuff like this that had the mats on them, because if you grew up in the 90s, you more than likely had what us Matchbox guys call a rug. It was a rug that you'd put down in your room. I venture to say it was 8 by 10 or so, and it had a whole bunch of roads on it, and the thing was only like $4 or $5 new at Walmart or Kmart or wherever you shopped at, and you know, it gave you all the, that's what us kids really wanted, was all the roads and everything to drive the cars on. So it gave roads and everything, and it really kind of killed off these play sets that came with these really cheesy plastic play mats, because as you can see, it's really thin, you know, almost paper-like material. So it really killed this. And then after that, Matchbox kind of went with some really retarded, gay-looking play sets that were kind of colored like Power Rangers. I don't know. I don't appreciate 90s toys at all, just because it was all that, you know, really gay-looking coloring that the Power Rangers had. But like I said, here it is. Here's the play sets, the ones I could find anyway, along with some extra stuff like the cereal boxes and everything. Check out the other videos where I feature the Transformer toys, and I should probably update that one too, since I've gotten Omega since then. But yeah, I got the video for the Transformer toys. I've got the video for the Matchbox and Hot Wheels cars, which I had to break some out, of course, to pose with the play sets. And I believe I have another video up there of the mask toys. My next video will probably be, like I said, the slot cars, which I've got a lot of Aurora AFX kind of stuff. So stay tuned for that. One Bad Decepticon, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned, there'll be more stuff. I'm going to post the links to the other toy videos and this videos. Like, share, all that happy stuff, and thanks for watching, guys. See ya.